Okay, so ayan, welcome sa ating continuation of our topic of functions of art and philosophical perspectives of art. Okay, so sa part 1, na-discuss natin yung functions of art and pinutol ko lang kasi masyado na mahaba yung ating recorded video discussion. Okay, so moving forward, philosophical perspectives on art. Unahin natin yung isang statement dito wherein nakalagay as art as an form of imitation. Plato in his masterpiece, The Republic, particularly paints a picture of artists as imitators and art as mere imitation. In his description of the ideal republic, Plato advises against the inclusion of art as a subject in the curriculum and the banning of artists in the republic. And in Plato's metaphysics of view of reality, the things in this world are only copies of the original, the eternal and the true entities that only be found in the world of forms. Okay, bibigyan ko kayo ng short, sabihin na natin, then, explanation about this kay Plato. Itong si Plato, naniniwala siya when it comes into art, that art is just an imitation. So bakit daw art is just form of imitation? Kasi lahat daw ng bagay dito sa mundo ay imitation lamang. Okay? So yun yung paniniwala nitong si Plato. And meron din siyang paniniwala about sa world of forms nakalagay diyan. So yung world of forms dito, in short, sinasabi niya dito sa world of forms na when it comes into art, can we trust ba daw yung ating senses? Di ba nasabi ko na when it comes into art, kailangan muna natin ma-perceive yung art through our senses. And then we will have to judge and value yung art na yon. Pero itong si Plato, sabi niya, it is just an imitation. Lahat daw na nakikita natin sa mundong ito ay imitation. Itong mga taong ito kasi, itong si Plato, si Socrates, si Aristotle, sila ay mga philosophers. So alam naman ng mga philosophers, napakarami nilang mga philosophy in life, napakarami nilang mga paniniwala. And isa sa paniniwala nitong si Plato, yung world of forms na ito. So ulitin natin, sabi niya, meron siyang katanungan na should we trust our senses? And when it comes into senses or reason, senses or reason yung pipiliin, mas pipiliin daw nitong si Plato yung reason. So dapat reason daw yung pipiliin natin in depicting the reality of our world. So hindi dapat senses. Hindi lang basta-basta yung senses yung ginagamit daw natin. And naniniwala itong si Plato kasi na merong ideal version lahat ng bagay dito sa mundo. So kapag sinabi kasi nating ideal version, meaning perfecto. So paano natin magiging perfecto yung isang bagay? Dapat daw ay true reasons. Yun yung paniniwala nitong si Plato. And pakilagay dyan, kapag si Plato, naniniwala siya na art as an imitation. Kasi imitation lang naman daw lahat ng nandito sa mundo. Okay, so in art as an imitation, human beings endeavor to reach the forms all throughout his life. Yan, minexplain ko naman na yan about sa world of forms. So much is true for beauty in this world. When one ascribes beauty to another person, he refers to an imperfect beauty that participates only in the form of beauty in the world of forms. Di ba? Sinasabi ko kanina na naniniwala siya in perfection. Na perfecto daw dapat ang isang bagay. Kaso hindi nagiging perfecto yung bagay dito sa mundo kasi imitation lang naman. Imitation lang naman daw yung nakikita natin dito sa mundo. Kaya kahit gaano kaganda, kahit gaano kagara yung mga nagawa dito sa mundo, it is just an imitation. Yan ay according kay Plato. And of course, Plato was convinced that artists merely reinforce the belief in copies. So, kopya lang daw ng totoong realidad yung nandito sa mundo. And ito pa, pakitandaan yung word na ispa. Ispa. S-P-A. Ispa. Okay? Pagdating sa pagkasunod-sunod nitong mga philosophers na ito, ay ispa yung tatandaan ninyo. Bakit ispa? S for Socrates, P for Plato, and A for Aristotle. Okay, so bakit nauna itong si Socrates? Kasi si Socrates yung teacher ni Plato. Si Socrates yung naging teacher ni Plato, meaning student si Plato. And then, itong si Plato naman, nagkaroon siya ng estudyante, si Aristotle. So, meaning, itong si Socrates yung mas naunang teacher. Okay? So, Plato was deeply suspicious of arts and artists for two reasons. They appeal to the emotion rather to the rational faculty of the man. And they imitate rather than lead one to reality. Okay, so yan yung paniniwala nitong si Plato. It's all about imitation. And it's not reality. Poetry and painting, the art forms that Plato was particularly concerned with, do not have any place in an ideal state that Socrates, as the protagonist in Plato's dialogue envisions. So saan nag-originate yung paniniwala ni Plato na ito? Nag-originate siya sa kanyang teacher na si Socrates, na naniniwala din na art is an imitation. Itong si Socrates kasi, hindi ko nababasahin dyan para hindi na masyadong mahaba. It talks about Socrates lang din naman. So itong si Socrates, naniniwala daw siya na yung art is just imitation of another imitation. Di ba, napakalalim? So ibig sabihin daw niyan, kunyari nag-paint ka ng forest. Pinaint mo yung forest, kahit kuhang-kuha mo yung itsura ng forest, hindi daw yon yung reality. Kasi yung painting mo na yon, imitation lang siya, noong imitation din, which is yung forest ay imitation din daw mismo. Okay? So napakagulo ni sir, napakagulo naman ni Socrates. Yun yung gusto niyang sabihin. Kasi nga, naniniwala sila parehas ni Plato na itong mundo daw natin is just an imitation or unrealistic copy or copy rather of a real world which is nag-exist in world of forms. So ibig sabihin itong mundo daw natin ay just a copy. So kapag yung imitation na yon kinopya mo, ibig sabihin you are just copying an imitation from another imitation. Yan yung sinasabi nitong si Socrates. Art is just an imitation of imitation. Tulad ng sabi ko kanina, kunyari dinrawing mo or pinaint mo yung isang forest which is actually nag-exist sa mundo natin, kahit kuhang-kuha mo yan, imitation pa rin yan. Kasi yung forest na yon ay imitation lang din daw naman. Okay, the arts then are to be banished alongside the practitioners so that the attitudes and actions of the members of the republic will not be corrupted. For Plato, art is dangerous because it provides a pretty replacement for the real entities that can only be attained through reason. Okay, Aristotle, Plato's most important student in philosophy, agreed with his teacher that art as a form of imitation. However, in contrast to disgust that his master holds for art, Aristotle considered art as an aid to philosophy in revealing truth. So, itong si Aristotle, kahit naniniwala siya na art is a form of imitation, at least hindi siya naniniwala na hindi daw realidad yung nandito sa mundo natin. Okay? So, through art daw, ay pwede daw maging way daw yung art para ma-expose yung possible reality dito sa ating mundo. Okay. Talking about tragedies, for example, Aristotle in the Poetics claimed that poetry is a literary representation in general. Kunyari, merong nangyaring sabihin na natin namatay yung mahal sa buhay. Gumawa ka ng poetry patungkol sa kanya. And naniniwala itong sa Aristotle na yung poetry na ginawa mo ay real representation nung nangyari talaga. So, to other art forms, poetry only admits of an attempt to represent what things might be. So, pwedeng reality daw yung nire-represent mo. So, for example, all kinds of art, including poetry, music, dance, painting, and sculpture, do not aim to represent reality. As it is, what art endeavors to do is to provide a vision of what might be or the myriad possibilities in reality. Unlike Plato, itong si Aristotle taught that art is an imitation of another imitation. Si Plato yan. Aristotle conceived of art as representation or possible representation of reality. Okay? So at least hindi siya naniniwala na itong mundo natin ay imitation din. Okay? In Aristotelian worldview, art serves two particular reasons. Art allows for the experience of pleasure. Experiences that are otherwise repugnant can become entertaining in art. Diba? Art allows for the experience of pleasure. Siyempre, minsan sa art kasi, diba, nag-enjoy tayo. Kunyari, yung mga reggae music, yung mga nakikita natin na paintings, diba? Napakalamig sa mata, talagang mag-enjoy tayo. So yan yung gustong sabihin nitong si Aristotle. Also, art has an ability to be instructive and teach its audience things about life. Diba? Sa play din, sa mga role play na nangyayari, in theater play, diba? Merong mga moral lessons tayong makukuha. And yun yung gustong sabihin lang dito ni Aristotle. Okay, dito naman tayo kay Immanuel Kant. So itong si Immanuel Kant ang nagsulat ng Critique of Judgment. So ano nga ba itong Critique of Judgment? Kant considered the judgment of beauty the cornerstone of art as something that can be universal despite its subjectivity. So hindi ko na masyadong babasahin yan kasi sabihin na natin lalim masyado. Explain ko na lang siya in layman's term or mas mabilis ninyong maintindihan. Sinasabi lang naman dito ni Immanuel Kant na ang art daw ay universal. Napag-aralan na natin to. Art is universal. Pero kahit daw na universal itong art or sabihin na natin na art is subjectivity, involved in subjectivity, meaning meron tayong kanya-kanyang meaning of art. Bakit natin ginawa yung art na yon? Ano yung gusto nating ipaharating? Ay dapat meron tayong standard. Which is na pag-usapan na natin nung mga una nating discussion. So Kant mentioned that judgment of beauty and therefore art is innately autonomous from specific interests. So kung ano yung pagtingin ng tao ay nakadepende din dun yung makikita nung tao na titingin sa art mo. Okay, therefore even aesthetic judgment for Kant is a cognitive activity. So ibig sabihin hindi daw basta-basta makikita ng isang tao yung beauty ng isang artwork. Kailangan din nito ng thorough na pag-iisip. Okay, cognitive activity. Kant recognized that judgment of beauty is subjective. So, dito papasok yung sinasabi natin na yung beauty ay minsan nasa panloob at minsan nasa panlabas. Kaso nga lang, dapat meron kang tinitingnan na criteria before mo sabihin na maganda yung isang bagay. Sabihin na natin, ang pagtingin mo sa kagwapuhan or kagandahan ay hindi sa physical aspect. Sabihin na natin, nasa loob dapat, sinasabi ng iba. So paano mo nasabi na gwapo siya sa kanyang loob? Sabihin na natin dapat mabait, dapat mapagbigay, dapat magalang. At least meron kang criteria. So, ganun lang yung gustong sabihin diyan. So, Kant advanced the preposition that even subjective judgment are based on some universal criterion. Sinasabi ko kanina, dapat meron kang criteria sa pagpili. So, for Kant, when one judges a particular painting as beautiful, one in effect is saying that the said painting has induced a particular feeling or satisfaction from him and that he expects the painting to rouse the same feeling from anyone. So, yun yung gustong sabihin dyan. Dapat kung ano daw yung nakita mo doon sa painting na yon or yun yung gustong ipakita nung mismong gumawa ng painting. Okay? And then, dapat makita din daw nung ibang tao yung ganong um, emotion na naramdaman mo from that painting itself. For him, every human being should recognize the beauty that is inherent in a work of art. This is the kind of universality. So, kapag si Kant pinag-uusapan pagdating sa art, ay art is subjectivity. Okay? So, dito naman tayo kay Leo Tolstoy. So, sino itong si Leo Tolstoy? So, Leo Tolstoy is the author of War and Peace and Anna Karenina. So, Leo Tolstoy provided another perspective on what art is. In his book, What is Art?, Leo Tolstoy defended the production of the sometimes truly extravagant art, like operas despite extreme poverty in the world. Siya yung nagdepensa noong kanyang time, bakit daw kailangan natin gumastos sa art? Bakit merong paggastos sa art? Naghihirap na nga yung mga tao. So sabi dito, for him, art plays a huge role in communication to his audience emotions that the artist previously experienced. So gusto lang daman daw nitong si Leo Tolstoy na may express noong mga tao yung gusto nilang express sa kanilang art, which is yun yung na-experience nila. Okay, so parehas yan doon sa sinasabi natin na art involves experience. Okay, kunyari, di ba? May example ako na yung mga broken-hearted ay mas gusto nilang pakinggan yung sad songs, di ba? Wherein, yun yung na-experience din noong of course, yung nag-compose ng kanta. So, art then serves as a language, a communication device. So, kapag sinabi natin si Leo Tolstoy, sabi niya, art is an communication device. Pakitandaan po yan. Meaning, it articulates the feelings and emotions that otherwise unavailable to the audience. Okay? Kapag si Leo Tolstoy, ano yung sasagot? Art is a communication device. Okay, so in the same way, what language communicates information to other people, art communicates emotions. Tolstoy is fighting for the social dimension of art as a purveyor of man's innermost feelings and thoughts. So, di ba, tulad nung pinag-usapan natin noong assumptions of art, ay art daw ay talagang nag-express ng mga na-experience noong artist. And gustong maramdaman din ng mga audience yung na-experience na yon ng artist na yon. Okay, so bigyan ko kayo ng quick recap of our discussion. Okay, kapag si Plato, ano yung gusto niyang sabihin? Kapag art is an imitation. Kapag si Socrates, art is an imitation of an imitation. Dalawang imitation kapag kay Socrates, pakitandaan po yan. Kapag isang imitation, si Plato. Okay, ano pa ba? Kay Aristotle naman tayo, kapag si Aristotle, Sinasabi niya na yung art daw may be a form of imitation. Pero it could be a possible representation of reality. Okay, yun yung gustong sabihin ni Aristotle. Kapag Leo Tolstoy naman, ay unahin muna natin pala itong si Immanuel Kant. Kapag si Immanuel Kant naman, art is subjectivity. Okay? Art is subjective. Ibig sabihin, meron tayo kanyang-kanyang pagtingin sa art. Kapag si Leo Tolstoy, art is a communicative device. Art is a language, pwede din. Art is used as a tool for communication. So again, I am your teacher for this subject, art appreciation. I am Juanito Gawat Yabut Jr. And thank you for listening. I am hoping na sana ay nakinig kayo, nagsulat, and may mga takeaways naman. So yun lang, and take care always. See you soon, guys.